Welcome everyone to another live stream here on the main channel. Exceptionally for the new viewers, our regular IT news now on the secondary, more random live channel. But not only did the last days so much stuff accumulated and piled up here that I also thought maybe just some 10 to 15 minutes of only breaking CPU news. 0 frames, 30 FPS, amazing stuff. So welcome. A world's first for in a decade or so. Here a new NUVIA Centaur technology CPU. Who would have thought that in 2019 we will a new VR Nano whatever HTR2 or whatsoever technology announcement. Yay! Something that probably nobody, not you, not me, not nobody ever expected. So what is this? Actually, I should have slightly Googled what was this via HTR2 or something. Also, yeah, CPU names nobody can remember or pronounce. HTR something. Or we probably see this here. And so that is of course a code name. Of course not an own fab. So even back in the day, manufactured Fujitsu TSMC. And yeah, yeah, also don't want to donate. They have enough more money than we. Isaiah or Isaiah. Anyway, you get the idea, the old code name, and actually there was some HTR2. Let's also copy this. And I was actually looking forward to this some time ago, not because it was or would be the most high performance, but just because third vendor in the otherwise Apple, AMD and Intel, and so they announced this shortly. It's like, yeah, it's coming. It was even rumored maybe x86 ARM, I consent whatever. CPU hybrid. Maybe it never came to market. Really curious what that would have been. They had even some counter. They had the fancy website. Yeah, it's coming soon in 17 days or 40 days, whatever. It never came. And in the meantime, I thought maybe they are bankrupt, but apparently they are still around. So world's first high performance VR and high x86 sites. Okay. SOC with integrated AI coprocessor. That is why I thought maybe fun to discuss here on the more main channel. Who is 2019? You already need to start your presentation, not like back in the day, a decade ago. VR, amazing now. Who even are we still in 2019? Yeah, Centaur technology based in Austin, Texas, founded 24 years ago. Also, yeah, as if 24 years later, it's still noteworthy that it's ex-IBM and Dell. It's like, yeah, whatever, move on guys, 24 years have passed, but whatever. Developed 26 different x86 designs, of course 26 different, counting all their different, what was even their very first one, I wonder. So that is Centaur x86. I would not be surprised. The thing is, you start to lose somewhat overview what was there. So VR Nano, of course these are the modern ones. What are comparable die size? I actually slightly wonder, Centaur was founded, the funding came from Integrated Device Technology, funding came from IDT. I slightly wonder, we have this IDT WinChip. I wonder here on this channel with the other vintage and retro WinChip. Here, founded by so on under the name, while funding IDT, 3 different Centaur designs were shipped under the marketing name of WinChip. So yeah, just what we have shown, our precious, wonderful, nice little collectible piece of IDT WinChip 2, here 240 megahertz, multiple videos, even playing V-Quake, the first hardware isolated Quake on a rendition verite here on this channel. So yeah, this 26 designs, of course, IDT WinChip, and then all the many small iterations. So I would not be surprised, marketing speech. Of course, the first 3 designs were IDT WinChip 1, IDT WinChip 2, IDT WinChip 2A, IDT WinChip 2B or something. So also, yeah, with millions, over 26 years or 24 years, millions of units, certainly not so many. Talking on probably what Intel sells in 1 year or 1 quarter, but anyway. Also, it works, yay! Anyway, so industry challenge, fast interference, hardware requires external x86 host processor, current and so on, yada yada, marketing speech, whatever. The solution integrates a dedicated AI coprocessor, of course, even in an iPhone or or probably Samsung, probably too. Yeah, in all kinds of bits and pieces nowadays, some AI stuff, of course, just some massive parallel of thousands of similar to graphic cards, obviously, just some very specific neural network acceleration but whatever. So let's see what have they done here. It's so new developed since a decade, I hope. The questions, of course, similar to Ishaya or whatever, I already forgot whatever, doesn't matter. Ishaya 2 or whatever that was, or Ishaya, I get the idea. Also, yeah, you wonder about the performance. Is certainly, I wonder if they are on par as latest Intel and AMD, but 60 nanometers, so yeah, even though it's now state of the art, it's not even the very latest and greatest process. So from this, you probably can already guesstimate that the performance and efficiently will be at least some level below. Intel reference platform running at 2.5 gigahertz today. Of course, 2.5 gigahertz already Intel Core 2 Duo were running a decade ago, so whatever delivers whatever terabyte peak performance, dedicated 16 MB something. Internal codename is Ncore, so they finally got away with maybe they got away with this Ishia 2 stuff. Designed from clean sheet with goal of efficiency, as it's probably why we have not heard something from Centaur in a decade. I'm really surprised that they were still around. Let's fact check that shortly. Of Ishia 2, when even was that? Rumored to 2014. Okay, it's not yet a decade, it's only 5 years, it's only half a decade. But yeah, at 232 something bit very wide single instruction multiple data organized in vertical slices for easy size reconfiguration. Single instruction, I slightly wonder how they sounds slightly funny. Easier to accelerate non-Mac operations, activation function. We at Centaur know how to make, they were never like known for the very outstanding performance, but they know from their VR C7 WinChip 2 stuff how to make single instruction multiple duster fast and efficient. Question mark. Anyway, much better than huge array of Macs, used many new chips, hard to do fast non-Mac things, not best latency, how to scale. Yeah, if you listening that VR, if you want to send one of those over, we are known here to have lots of fun with Linux stuff. So yeah, also previous videos we are Nano, just for the sake of completeness of this collection here of having for our T2 Linux, because testing, more testing. Just recent video getting via Nano from back in the day, because back in the day they were a little bit expensive for the performance, so I never got one, being a cheapskate. So now from some recycling company we got, even still, right, makes no sense except for this YouTube content, $100, the stupid VR Nano thing. Was it dual core, right? Something of that sort, previous video. Yeah, leave me in the comments below what you think about this current version, Centaur AI. Also, I personally don't find that so interesting. I wonder, okay, what would be newsworthy or noteworthy is if this is really sound like single instruction multiple data and more flexible reconfigurable, then it might actually be more interesting than it looks or than you would think, because that is my critique on just AI, and then you can't do other things, right? You run some OpenOffice, so not that you would run OpenOffice or something, or Firefox, but even if you would, like, you get this as it's cheap or whatever, you like it, or you want to neither buy Intel or AMD, and you run Firefox, you can do nothing else. So at least there is potential hopes that maybe you can do something else with it, if it really is, as they write here, computations available in 1 clock, hence very low latency. So if this is more reconfigurable, then you color me a little bit more interested. Yeah, I wonder if it really comes to market. You know, marketing slides is one thing, and then really like is year two something shipping never. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. If someone at VIA is listening, standard Linux driver we run on Ubuntu. That is the wrong Linux, though. You certainly need to run this on T2. New stream, yeah, so new streaming x86 instructions, runtime lib, loadable. Well, I mean, at least it looks, I mean, from that point, so as we have growing subscribers, hey, by the way, we just surpassed the 1 million views. That is amazing, not yet 1 million subscribers, but working on that. So fun thing, if this really comes to market and doesn't really cost something reasonable, I will actually just get it for not only having curious hardware here, but also YouTube testing and benchmarking and playing around this, competing with a cell, maybe even writing a cell example program and writing an example program of this new streaming x86 instructions if it ever sees the light of day. We have plenty of comments. So from that point, standard AI stuff in an iPhone or in Samsung ARM stuff, not the most interested, because yeah, whatever, just this massive multiplication stuff of activation, whatever. But if this is more flexible, usable, like for why is this more usable in my opinion? If something like this is what I always said, like I would like the PS3 cell-like architecture more on modern GPUs. I would like some more general SEMD. I always said this, previous videos, you can watch all of them if you don't believe me. And this is exactly what I meant with just this AI stuff is usually not doing anything. Yeah, you work the whole day, it gives you nothing. At least this has on paper the potential of being usable for video encoding, maybe theoretically, but at least more than some stupid array of just activation neuron stuff. So yeah, benchmarking apparently, of course, you write here only the best. Summary paired with whatever. Requires 23 of Intel's world-class Xeon cores to match Centaur coprocessor, saves power and cost while featuring. Yeah, so if it comes to market, if they sell it, like if they sell it for 5,000, I will not get it. But if they really bring it to market and let's say it costs like 500 euro, dollar, something, I will get it just for the testing fun of it and see if it lives up to the promise and something. Let's see. So we have already comments on this amazing CPU news stream. Welcome Glaucus, how you are doing? Hope you are all doing fine. Emulator for the, I got the emulator for his CPU working, writes Mr. Bong. Other comments, 64-bit with on instruction set either called sucks, people love it. Welcome Detard, welcome Christian, welcome everyone. Documenting the process, proprietary Detard, 500 CPU meant, 100 free hardware design. Congrats, nice. What is going on there? Yet, but we're doing something, whatever. Revision 2, great. So more news, more startups. So that is not only the new, the latest company coming out there of their graveyard headquarters stuff after half a decade. Also new CPU startup NUVIA, it's like hello VIA, NUVIA, getting it, NUVIA, anyway, who came up with this name? It's hilarious. NUVIA. I hope it's better than VIA, so the NUVIA. New server CPU startup going after Intel and AMD. Yeah, good luck. Certainly won't be easy. It even took AMD like nearly a decade to catch up or something. Founder by former senior Apple CPU architect. NUVIA for the first time publicly released its existence with its announcement of a successful first investment round of 53. Also, if you want to get into hardware, 53 million is apparently something that you need to get going to catch up with Intel and AMD. NUVIA founded early 2019, goal reimagining silicon design and deliver industry-leading performance, having held diverse array of engineering leadership roles at Google, Apple, ARM, Broadcom and AMD. So yeah, also, however, I really wonder, probably we will not see something from them for 5 years. Most likely they will just be brought out. There were already other startups. Maybe some of those people even worked at Intel's power efficient, not Intel, what did I even say? PR semi power efficient. this company that Apple also brought out, creating a high-performance, efficient PowerPC core over a decade ago, and that Apple acquired in April 2008, just a decade ago. I really wish in collecting all this nice exotic hardware, this is actually, sometimes I googled this, actually some leftover stock, so this actually existed. I never had one. Wonder if one day I get the hands on of them. They are a little bit rare. Maximum 7 watts at 2 gigahertz was not too bad. It was actually rumored that Apple would, instead of Intel, migrate from IBM to this power efficient, but probably they were a little bit late to market or something. Then Apple purchased them for the iPhone a something SoC division there, so that is most likely most of this technology just with ARM instead of PowerPC front end and encoding, decoder and stuff used there. So maybe some of those people, I would not be surprised because this company is just new, just that, you know, also Apple lost some people, apparently here chief architect or something leading whatsoever. So maybe Apple development will slow down with, you know, all the people always moving on. But again, I would not be surprised if we hear nothing from them for another 5 years, because as we have seen with transmitter, power efficient and so on, and others, that getting a major breaking CPU design out into the market is not the most easy thing to do. Business model isn't exactly clear at the moment. However, yeah, that's a good thing for a startup. Business model is not exactly clear. However, given its hiring position, it looks like the company is aiming to create a new server SoC with a new custom CPU architecture, essentially a new ground-up design, and so on. Currently hasn't disclosed either, and the new design would be working on. I would sure hope for them that they use RISC-V, because everything else, in my opinion, nowadays is a little bit pointless. In more amazing news, you have an AMD Ryzen, you were wondering performance could be even better. There is a Intel math library tweak, you know, the recurring theme here of Intel supporting AMD with the math library, not very good. And previous lawsuits that they lost, they had to pay their, even was it something of hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion, to Intel for intentionally harming AMD's performance. So I wanted to briefly present here on Reddit some tweaks of what is it? MATLAB runs notoriously slow on AMD CPUs for the operation that use Intel math kernel library MKL. This is because Intel MKL uses the discriminative CPU dispatcher that doesn't use. Also, yeah, lawsuit previously lost. I still wonder why this is around. Is it the old library? It's a little bit, yeah. But based on the results of the vendor string query, this is, I said this here multiple times, don't trust this Windows benchmark, binary only benchmark. We had this for decades, even in games, could sometimes specifically crafted to favor NVIDIA for no good reason. And if the CPU is from AMD, the MKA Intel math kernel library does not use SSE 3, 4 or AVX1 2 extension, but falls back to SS1 no matter whether the AMD CPU supports more efficient AMD instructions. So this is not new news, this is only posted 3 days ago, but this was known for a decade. I thought they lost the lawsuit. We could actually Google this and fact check this. Intel CPU lawsuit lost AMD math library. Let's see what Google can find us. Intel's crippled AMD function here. Agnar from 2010. This is Reddit. Core lawsuit AMD. Okay, this was something else. Core Intel lawsuit is now behind it. What? Yeah, Intel costing 20. This is not really what we wanted, but Intel, maybe we need to Google AMD lawsuit. Oh, we had AMD there. How can we not find this here? Also, 2019. This is hilarious. 2019 Google can't find stuff anymore. But here you have more proof. I am pretty sure they lost the lawsuit. Forced. Here is it. Will Intel be forced? Oh, wait a second. Something complained about for years. So yeah, this is not a new thing. Already widely discussed between 2005. AMD has sued Intel for unfair competitive at least since 2005, settled here. So yeah, it was settled in 2009, so a decade ago. I'm so 55 million interest something. Million interest whatever. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm super wondering why this is still around. You would have thought after this lawsuit lost that is long solved and settled, but apparently not, or MATLAB is just using such an old library, who knows. This is apparently only junk. So yeah, AMD Ryzen 5 2600, so even slower stuff than VRAM here from last year. And performance details, plus 17, plus 253, plus 69, plus 258, plus 219, plus 47%, 247% faster, also additional AVX2 tweak, 195% faster. You get the idea and why. I always said, even the last decade before the YouTube channel here, I often said, even with AMD a little bit slower, even I lived up to my comments here. Even a decade ago we purchased here, we were running on AMD Phenom. Compute nodes worked wonderful for us, for the price, for the money, no complaint there. And I always said, this is Windows, this is all these magazine articles, with benchmarking all this binary only stuff. Who knows and who is checking how much performance bias that is based on single instruction, multiple data stuff, used or not used by Intel's libraries and whatnot. And yeah. Also, in similar news, here in German news that I translate, the Athlon here is one of these major German news sites here. Quite impressed with this Athlon 3000G. We shortly mentioned this in a previous video. This is $50 CPU, of course, totally entry level. But I thought I include this here because that not only is it one of the first times AMD allows a overclocking an Athlon processor from this Zen family with an open multiplier, but also additionally they say here that for this price, so this is dual core 4 threads, so dual core SMT 4 threads and Vega compute unit, of course, totally amazing Office deal if you're looking for an entry level workstation like thin client Office, Open Office, Firefox, desk side PC for your workers there in a company. Total amazing deal here. And they say, they come to the conclusion that this is a small revolution for cheap processors and basically killing Intel. So not only is AMD killing Intel at the high end or high-end enthusiast desktop stuff with massive parallel multi-core 16 core 32 threads, AMD Ryzen 3950X, what other reviews and YouTubers, hopefully we will also get it soon, found to be totally amazing. But also on the low end, right? So it's not only like at least Intel can sell at the low end, which like who wants to sell on the low end, right? But even on the low ends, like yeah, we have a solution like abundant yield recycling scrap material there on $50. Amazing deal. I'm actually thinking whether we should try this here for Office router, like firewall, gateway, VPN stuff, just for the fun of it. So yeah, high end and low end now pretty covered by AMD. What is left for Intel in other news? Intel recalls Xeon E2000 or 2274G Coffee Lake CPU over, so you would think over all the security vulnerabilities, Spectrum meltdown, their broken jump instructions. Actually, I wonder if this is it affected by Coffee Lake? Does it have the broken jump? Previous video. But you would think so. I would personally expect like Intel has to recall their not the most amazing silicon over all the security vulnerabilities and broken conditional jump instruction, but no, they call this bloody entry-level Xeon or whatever stuff over a rubbish stock cooler. Like, oh, seriously, what the heck? Also, in my opinion, I would say that Intel deserves to recall many more CPUs over all this over all the security vulnerabilities and broken jump instruction. I certainly would return this into conditional jump. Let's see which were is what GCC conditional is not what. cache broken. Let's see which models are mitigations, code erratum. Okay, let's open this. Let's see if this opens halfway decent here in mitigations. So official paper for Intel, always nice to cite here official papers and not some hearsay. That was which processor under complex microarchitectural conditions, like complex, like crossing a 32-byte boundary. Affected processor section. Okay, let's see. Affected processors can be so 8th generation Amber Lake, Cascade Lake, Coffee 8th generation based on Coffee Lake. So that is exactly what we were looking at, Coffee Lake. Yeah, so that probably I would think it is affected by this conditional jump, complex microcode, complex 32-byte boundary iCache. Anyway. But over rubbish, stock cooler, you can't make this, even the cooler. But I mean, it's funny, right? So for everything broken in the Intel, so the silicon architecture is so broken that it has so many security vulnerabilities that need workarounds by the operating system, by microcode, conditional jump, 32-byte boundary. It's hilarious. And overall the performance, so they have not yet, I still wonder for the class action lawsuit, so many really conceptual architectural issues they have, and they recalled over a garbage stock cooler. You can't make this up. It's hilarious. Rubbish stock cooler. Leave me in the comments below what you think. And should vendors, in my opinion, yes, it is super complex, and we here previous videos FPGA goodness ourselves a little bit getting started, but we are not Intel, right? We are an unsuccessful one-man guy here trying to do FPGA stuff, and that's certainly something else than one of the largest x86 CPU companies not getting their microarchitecture right. Let's see, what else do we have? Maybe even a TTL version FPGA. Going to try to what's coming up, hardware acceleration, 4K video via processors. Yes, you probably want to rewind and watch this live stream from the beginning. We have their YouTube is doing sing again, apparently. Suck is a bad word, apparently. There are no worries. Do you think this can change AMD CPU general performance in games in the short term? You might mean the Intel math library stuff. I've no idea how many games would use Intel libraries. Certainly, I always said this, how much better could this run if some Intel compiler, not sure how much penalty there is in commercial games, because we simply don't use the Intel compiler here. We are good with GCC and Clang. People still discuss their SUC CPUs, hardware acceleration, think it would run fine 4K video. Being around for 15 years since just... also going back to this VIA news, but for that you certainly want to rewind here. One really not nice thing from VIA was always that they rarely, if ever, published errata. So for all the Intel is getting some headwind here for all their security vulnerabilities. At least Intel and AMD are disclosing their erratas, and that is something that VIA rarely has done. So from that point, VIA has not the best track record, and not only do I call out Intel and AMD for not publishing enough details. For example, AMD random instruction for the previous generations, they simply have abandoned it and closed this like, yeah, okay, we are not even advertising random anymore. And for the new, I would still like to know what is broken there, just to understand the nature of the pseudo non-random number generator. Is it just initialization? Why is it sometimes broken? And such details AMD should disclose. And additionally, VIA never has disclosed any erratum. Maybe they didn't want to get sued. Maybe the VIA CPU is so broken that they would have to disclose so many. I don't know. But if VIA wants to be taken seriously ever again, they for sure should disclose more of their technical erratas, documentations. And yeah, even the Open Chrome stuff, they had there some Mesa stuff, but they disclosed some, I mean, at least they provided some register level specification for this Chrome stuff, which maybe another year we also continue with just for the fun of it. But it's not the greatest, and they had some internal Mesa sources. I also wonder, I think some of their internal Mesa sources they also never disclosed, as far as I remember. But well, at least that is more than as small as the company VR is. At least they disclosed and opened and provided more register level specifications than NVIDIA. So yeah, but we will for sure continue to call out such stuff. So people still discuss their CPU there in the comments. Athlon 3K has a nice command set called Pure Power. What? Athlon 3K? What do you mean? Gets it working would be something. Make public after something. Okay, so then last but not least, so that is even CPU rubbish stock cooler at Intel. Last but not least, Apple. What's with me today? Intel gets totally. What did I say? Did I say Intel? Intel gets totally in a strange mood here, pulling BIOS updates and old drivers. That is really a big move here from Intel, in my opinion. Apparently, according to also to some other news, they will apparently stop providing BIOSes and drivers for old hardware. Of course, totally a blow for vintage and retro gaming, like other YouTubers here and or ourselves. Sometimes it's of course totally annoying if you have a nice thin client or some other stuff that you want to run with Linux, and then you can't get the latest BIOS update anymore. Well, the latest decade-old BIOS update. In my opinion, really not cool. In my opinion, such kind of, especially big vendors or in general vendors, should like be required to keep such stuff available or like forever, as long as they exist or something. It's of course said that the community, like not only open source community, but vintage and retro community, needs to keep maintaining the sets. Also, yeah, binary only, right? So there you see, even at Intel, the stuff eventually goes away, and you even like SGI Octane stuff or other PS3 transmitter efficient, and then companies disappear, binary only stuff disappear. A decade later, you have your nice little fun, like our Oko 01 of transmitter Crusoe with Silicon Motion, Link 3D graphic, and you can't even get the drivers anymore and BIOS anymore, because yeah, not only companies go bankrupt, but then Intel of all companies says, yeah, we are too big, we can't maintain a database of all drivers anymore, or BIOS. It's hilarious. Yeah, that's the CPU major news for today. I probably have one more thing that we could probably talk about, so don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Also, did I pull out the microphone cable? I hope no, not. Yeah, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. One more live stream coming just for the fun of it. I hope you learned something, and to see you soon on this main and the other more random live channel.